Why on earth would anybody rip up beautiful new hardwood floors and get rid of them? Just like I did at this project. Am I crazy? Well, probably. If you don't know who I am, well, I am Jeremy Beland, and I am an expert at acquiring off-market properties just like this one. Matter of fact, I've done this over 450 times in multiple markets. I've been able to generate millions of dollars in multiple markets, and I've done over $10 million in gross profits since I started my business back in 2017. Now, if you guys don't recognize this house, this is the Derry house. This is the wholesale, now kind of turn flip, and this is part 2 of the series where we're going to share why on earth would anybody sane rip up hardwood floors and get rid of them. Well, I'm going to explain that today, but I have a special guest for you today. That is my wife, Shelly. She's going to join us, and she's going to explain why we are so crazy and why all the madness of getting hardwood floors. Gasp! Why get rid of hardwood floors? Well, we're going to explain that. We're going to go inside. We're going to have a conversation, and it hopefully will make sense to you. So if you take down any projects like this, it'll give you an idea of why we do what we do. Well, we're inside the Derry house. It's summer. It's really hot because I have my wife here, but it's also hot in the house as well. We're in the kitchen. You can see the new cabinets are in behind us. You can't really see here because most of the floors are covered, but we've replaced the entire floors throughout the house. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talked in the first video, you were here recording it for me. We had beautiful hardwood floors that the previous seller, the homeowner, had put throughout the entire upstairs except for like the hallway.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we said, you know what? Let's chuck them. Let's rip up all those beautiful hardwood floors, those thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars hardwood floor, and get rid of it, put LVT down. Why on earth would anybody do anything so crazy? Because people love hardwood floors.
Well, I'll tell you this. In the very beginning of our flipping journey, I said the same thing. How could anybody rip up hardwood floors? Like, that must be blasphemy. You just can't do it. But I've come to learn over quite a few projects that sometimes there are reasons why you would do that. A lot of the time, if the house has hardwood floors and they're completely throughout and they're banged up, I actually have learned that you can keep those, because if it's throughout most of the house and there's a few bathrooms that aren't too bad, there's a refinishing, resurfacing that can be done, and we will clean them up and keep them. That's fine. Yep. In this house, that was not the case. Each bedroom had hardwood floor that was facing a different direction.
I mean, the floors were laid in different directions. Flow of it, yeah.
Right. So each one's a different direction, and no matter what way you put it into the hallway,
it's not going to match.
It's not going to match. And that flooring did not match any of the flooring that was in other parts of the house.
Right.
And then the other thing is, downstairs we were going to have to LVT anyway.
Right.
And you have stairs that go up, and it would have been really difficult to make it match from the downstairs to the upstairs. You could throw carpet in, but there's not carpeting anywhere else in this house, so that would look crazy. So that was also a challenge. So sometimes what we've learned, and we learned this in our Florida Airbnb, is you can pull out some hardwood floor that's not great only in a few rooms and redo the whole thing with a nice looking LVT, and it makes that house look 100% better than it did keeping the old hardwood floors. So, this isn't one that we took lightly. We tried really hard to look at the hardwood, look for matches. Can we make this work? But at the end of the day, it wasn't the right decision.
Yeah, so it's really tough, right? So you have all these hardwood floors that are beautiful. I mean, he just put them down. They're really nice, but it was a handyman special. A lot of this house, what we're doing, if you go back to the first video, is we're fixing all the stuff that he did, right? A lot of incomplete jobs and a lot of jobs that were done incorrectly. This is nature of what we do in this business when you take properties down. So we had all these hardwood floors, and then like Shelly said, it was like, all right, now we got to get LVT to match the hardwood floors. Now, let's state this. Ripping up the hardwood floors and putting LVT down was not in the budget.
No.
And it cost us more money to do that. Mm-hmm. And we are already maxed against the budget and probably maxed against the contingency. So we're really not putting any money that we have in this project available towards this. That's how strongly we felt at it.
That's how strongly felt.
Because we started to think about it. All right, we're going to be trying to get LVT that matches the stairs, right? So let's just say we got hardwood to match the stairs, and we do the treads on the stairs and get that match. Now we're going to get LVT to the downstairs that matches the upstairs, which was really dark. And we didn't want this house, as you see in this room, it's a little bit dark. Now, obviously, we have no lights going on in here, and they still need to be painted, but it's generally dark in here. So we wanted to lighten this place up. The dark floors are just going to absorb more light of that, right? Make it even darker. Light sells, people. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Light sells. Dark does not necessarily sell to the masses. So we're started thinking, like, all right, well, how much is it going to cost us to LVT and trying to get it to match, and then having the upstairs not be perfect in different directions? It just was a lot more effort than it was probably worth. So we said, you know what? We're going to rip it all up. And our project manager said, no, I don't think that's a good idea at all. But we're sticking to our gut because our gut usually steers us in the right direction here.
Right.
So,
and another thing that I would say about this whole thing too is you might be saying, well, why didn't you just rip up those hardwood floors and put down all new hardwood floors to keep the integrity of the house that already had hardwood floors?
Yeah, Shelly, unlimited ATM, whatever you want.
This is a lesson I learned early on in our flipping process, and what I've gotten better and better at is we are not custom home builders. This isn't my house that I would want. Maybe I would want some new hardwood flooring. In a perfect world. This is a house that we are trying to make a profit on. We have a budget and we need to keep in the budget. So we pick things that are like a calculated expense that are going to get us the most bang for our buck. And in this situation, we just felt like that would be the LVT, spend the money to rip up the hardwood that's there and put down the LVT, but we're not going to splurge on all new hardwood floors. That's just ridiculous. We would never get the money back. And one of my favorite things, before I wrap up that piece, is my favorite things that I've learned about flipping houses is that we are not on whatever it's called in California, HGTV. We don't have endless budgets, but it's really fun what people want is a house that feels new, clean, fresh. Everything is just, a clean slate that is kind of simple and appeals to the masses. And if you can do that and make the finishes really nice and keep within your budget, that's your challenge. And when you can meet that challenge, that's when you win. So we're always thinking about the end goal and the end budget when we do these choices.
Yeah, so HGTV has ruined us, right? So it's ruined our philosophy of things. That's why when we started flipping houses, all we had to go by was HGTV. Right. But this business will teach you the realities of that real quick. Now, we're not in California where everything's staged, right? And if you just go $50,000 over budget, hey, just wait for 6 months because it's going to be worth $100,000 in a year because that's California and that's like Hollywood Hills. And those are just, that's a very niche area. This isn't New England, right? So when we get these houses off market, you got to remember when we're acquiring these properties direct from the seller, right? We're trying to negotiate a value for this house. Now, this house, we think the ARV is around $600,000. I believe we got this around $380,000. Mm-hmm. So we have about $220,000, right? And we thought this would be light work. But as we're going into it, I'm like, man, this is a wholesale turning into a flip now.
There's always more things you thought maybe you weren't going to need to do, and you now have to do.
Right. It just goes without saying, right? And once you start digging into things, it's the way it goes. So people always just like, well, why would you paint it flip gray? Why wouldn't you just put hardwood floors down? Why would you not do this? Why would you not do that? Like Shelly said, we're not custom home builders. We don't have unlimited budget. Right. We're not in a position where we say, hey, we're starting from zero. We can just spend as much as we want. We basically have a amount from where we buy the house to where it sells. In there, we have to make profit. We have to pay Uncle Sam, right? We have to pay our team. We have to pay the lenders, the money that we borrow. We have to then manage the rehab budget all in there. And when you have an amount of money, you have to say, how can I best choose this, right? To give me the best bang for my buck. But I don't want to make it a very specialized house with fancy different backsplashes and really unique flooring and unique like backdrops and stuff. That's TV. Real life, we need as many people interested in this property as possible. We're not looking to find the right buyer. We're looking to find as many buyers as we can because we want to appeal to the masses. So when we give more of a cookie cutter brand more than a real specific, and we take pride in what we do. We try to put some elegance into it, and she does a great job with the design tips, but we can only do so much, and making it work in that budget is really tough. But we want to appeal to the masses. The more people interested in this property, the more money we make. Just like when we're wholesaling a deal, we don't want to have 1, 2, 3 cash buyers. We want to have hundreds and hundreds of cash buyers, because the more people competing for our wholesale deals or our flips drives the price up. So that's how we make more money. So it's really, really important that people understand that we're just trying to do the best with what we can do work with, and we're trying to make it work for as many people as possible. And that's not very easy to do.
No. And, you know, our first instinct is probably what a lot of people's are when we walk into a house. Like, sure, I would love to knock down this wall, add a room here, knock down this wall, get an architect and change the whole layout and go for all the highest end finishes. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that's going to bring me no profit or a negative profit. So I just can't do it.
And we hear this a lot from realtors. Realtors like, I know design, right? Because I've been selling houses for years. I know design. Let me come in and design your house. Sure, let me spend $100,000 over budget. The house is going to look beautiful, but I'm going to lose $100,000 on the seal. So that doesn't really work.
No, it's definitely a different process.
So I wanted to share that message with my beautiful wife today of why, you know, that's really the message of this video. We're over budget, right? This is turned from a wholesale to a flip. We had to rip up hardwood floors. Gasp! Why would anybody rip up hardwood floors? We're trying to problem solve and trying to make what we have to work with and sell it for as much money as possible while putting a good product out there and appealing to as many people as possible. That's what flipping's about. It's not HGTV.
Absolutely. What he said, 100%.
Hey, Shelly, thanks for being part of this video today.
Anytime.
Hey guys, that's the end of this video. This is Derry Part 2. We're going to come back in a few weeks, hopefully with Part 3. And at that video, that was where we're going to wrap all this up. You're going to see the final result, the end product, how good it looks. And we're going to share all the numbers with you. Hopefully at that point, we'll be under contract with an end buyer. And then we'll break down the potential profit we're going to make, how much we're selling it for, right? How much we bought it for, all our rehab numbers. We'll break down what we did in the rehab, how we went over budget. We're going to share all that stuff to you to make sure that it's real and there's a legitimacy to what we're saying and what we're doing, so you know this project is real and there's no HGTV here. But if you guys want to learn more about acquiring off-market deals like this and be an expert like I am, be a professional wholesaler or be a professional house buyer, and you want to learn how to start that business, well, click on the link below. I have something in there where for a no obligation phone call, I can teach you everything you need to know if that's something that interests you. If you guys want to continue to follow our journey, then please subscribe to the channel, like this video, so the algorithm will help feed other people to see this videos as well. We're trying to appeal to as many people out there who want to learn to break from the golden handcuffs and the 9-to-5 rat race and join a life of REI freedom. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.